Welcome to another episode of Amplifying Your Business. I'm your host, Stephanie, and I have to tell you that I am really excited to have you on, Rachel. This is going to be a really awesome experience. I feel like we've talked a lot of business, but today it's all about personal. It's talking. You're a life coach. I'm gonna let you explain what you do because I think you have a better explanation of all of it. But I think this is something we all need to take into consideration. You need to think about. It's not just for the business owners today. This is for all of us as a unit to kind of recenter, get our bearings on all of it. So, Rachel, explain to me, who are you and what do you do?
Right. I'm Rachel Schaefer. I'm from here in Springfield, Missouri, and I am a certified Christian life coach from Light University. Basically, my level of expertise is on the development of mental health and learning how to set healthy boundaries and also to get set free from the bondages of your past, the blockages and wrong mindsets that will, derail you from whatever it is that you're wanting to do in life. I basically, my primary focus is on women. And that's just a piece, that's where the Lord has led me to. The few clients that I do have, we talk about women's issues. Most of them are just trying to definitely that get word. And I think that's so important, especially in this day and age where there's so much chaos going on, and we need that order, and we serve a God of order. Amen.
Yes, absolutely. I was gonna ask, have you noticed a bigger, I don't know if I want to call it trend, but more people being more concerned about their mental health, especially lately, where they're like, I feel like something's off. Do you notice more people seeking help for their mental health lately than you did maybe, I mean, even 6 months to a year ago? I don't feel like it was as big or people were as concerned with it as they are now. Do you notice that?
I have noticed that. I think like the one scene that the Lord called me to this was right before the pandemic, and so it's taken me this long to be able to get everything in order so that I could be of service. But I have noticed that over time that many people after the pandemic, I mean, it scared them. It scared them. It caused them to almost kind of go backwards in their life or process. And so there's so much of what has happened in that time frame that has even shaken their faith a little bit. And so I've noticed that a lot of people now are seeking help in a multitude of ways. I mean, even when I began the process to becoming a life coach, I was bombarded by people that are like, "Here, help me. Like, you want to be a coach now? Let me coach you so you can be a coach," And I think that overwhelmed me because I didn't necessarily know where to go, who to talk to. Took research on my end because I'm like, well, I need a second. There's a dending on a lot of it. Yeah, I think that's where a lot of people struggle. That's because of that. And that's why that industry has gotten so like crazy, is because people are seeking ways to different life back to work and just reorganize their life, because I mean the whole world just collapsed and during the pandemic. So yes, I agree.
So I know like a lot of people say that like science and religion, they're not two things, and that your mental health has nothing to do with your faith. I mean, that's the outside world. I will give you my 2 cents that I feel personally my mental health is better and happier when my faith is involved, when it's stronger. Um, how do you intertwine those? How do we, I guess, do you start with faith or do you start with mental health, or do you kind of intertwine them so that you can conquer both while but in that midst of, at least that for that beginner stage when somebody's coming to you at the beginning and it's like, I just feel so lost. Do you start more on the faith side? Do you start more on the mental health side? Or do you really just try to intertwine them together when we're beginning?
I am pretty much intertwined the two. I'm a firm believer that mental illness is both conditional and oppression. And so, a lot of times when I have clients that over time, I'll start asking questions to my sessions up that I've had, even in like the short courses that I do more listening than I do talking. But a lot of times, it's about whatever the person is going through, especially if I can know a little bit about their history. I have a pretty good idea of, is it conditional or is it a spiritual attack? And a lot of times there is a fine line between science and religion because of the fact that, I mean, we do have physical bodies. And so I will never immediately say that, oh, your mental illness is caused because you had demons. Then there's truth to both sides of it. And I mean, I can vouch for myself. You know, I was diagnosed bipolar when I was 25, but I sought the Lord. And through my relationship with God and through everything, I no longer have the bipolar tendencies because of all of the deliverance that I've received personally. But I also know there are conditional sides to it too. There actually is something going wrong in the physical body that is causing the mental illness. Also, there has to be a happy medium between the two. And so I think like my approach is I meet the person where they are. In the same way that God meets us, I will meet the person right where they are. And if there is any actual concern that I think that they could benefit from professional mental health, I never force it on a person. I'll always say, based on what you told me, there is an area of concern you may need to speak with your doctor. Especially if they're saying, I haven't been on my medication, I'm noticing all of these different symptoms, and, you know, so there's always a concern there. And so I think there needs to be a healthy balance because, especially for a person that has been on medication, but they want to get off of it, it is possible. I'm living testimony of that. But there is a process that needs to go through before they can get off of that. It's never safe to just come right off of psychiatric medicine like that. It's not safe for the mental health because it does change the chemicals. I mean, that's just the way that the medicine world works. You know, I know a lot of people disagree with me, but I fully believe that mental illness is both conditional and spiritual. It just depends on the person and what they're going through.
Which is amazing. I think that a lot of people feel they can't come to get a coach necessarily, or they feel like, well, I don't know what they're gonna say. And the fact that you come and you're like, okay, I'm gonna meet you where you are, right? We're gonna see what's going on currently. Then you feel this way, or where we can meet, right? There's no expectation you have to be here or you have to be there, or you need to have these requirements beforehand. You're gonna meet them wherever they're at. Is important for others to know is that you don't have to come with certain things checked off the box beforehand. You don't have to, have done all these other things to seek help when it's necessary, when you want it. It doesn't have to be worst case scenario to seek a coach, to seek someone like yourself, to seek a life coach and go, hey, I want to get better. You just have to want to get better. If that's the requirement. You have to want to get better, not that you are being pushed in it, you're told to do it, or you're required to do it, or any of these. Like, you just have to want better to seek a coach. And I think that sometimes there's that like stigma around it, and that like hesitation about getting a coach, to seek a life coach. And like you mentioned before, there are those gimmicks, and so it's hard to kind of navigate the process. But when you have somebody like yourself who's faith-based, I feel like there's less doubt. You have to doubt less when you know that they're coming with a foundation that is going to be similar to yours. And they're coming and they're just meeting you where you're at and going forward. That's the key point. Now, I know there's a million and one life coaches out there, and that it is a big area. So, what are things that you would recommend somebody look for when they're coming to get a life coach or they're coming to seek that help? What are some things that you know that you would want people to look for when they're going through that?
So the first thing I would look for is pay attention to how they present themselves. Where's the fruit? And I mean, if you're looking at a Christian life coach, you need to know where the fruit is. It's no different than trying to find the right church to go to. So you're not standing in agreement with false prophecy and things of that nature. And it's no different in the coaching field. I personally am not a big fan of high ticket coaches. Those are the people that they will charge thousands upon thousands of dollars to go through a process. And it's effective in certain areas, but I feel like in life coaching, that's not effective. I think it's an area that life coaching really needs to be more intimate, more one-on-one, because when you're looking for someone to help you through the process. It's almost like going to therapy, except therapy will have you look back at your past, and sometimes it can be traumatizing because you are reliving your past. Whereas life coaching, it is designed to meet the person right where they are to help them move forward, not go backwards. Whereas, you may have to visit ask things to get to where you need to go, but it's not going to just put you where you have to relive your trauma, or at least it shouldn't. In my case, that is not what I do. I may ask questions just because to get a better idea, but I will never pry or push in those types of areas, especially with women, because many of us have been through so many horrible, traumatic things. And that's why these women are looking for someone to help. And they are afraid to reach out because it's very personal, it's very intimate. And so I personally, in a case of looking for a life coach, I don't recommend the high ticket coaches because most of the time they are coaches who are just looking for one specific amount of people with the least amount of work. I think coaches who work with the client are the most effective because you're mentoring, you are being fed versus a generic or topic that might get what you're looking for, but you're really not going to get a whole lot of interaction from the actual coach.
Right. Right. And that's important to know. Where is the fruit? What's the intention? What's their posture? What are they there for? Are they there for you or are they just there for the dollars? Is huge. If in any industry of coaching or anywhere you're seeking help. But like you said, it has to feel like a church. You go looking for your church, you go looking for a home, you look for a safe space that you feel comfortable. And that's important. You've got to be able to find that same thing in the people you bring in because it's intimate, because it is so close. So it's very important to think of those things. What kind of advice do you have for anybody who's kind of like, I'm not sure where I'm at. I don't know what's going on. I have so much chaos in my life. I want something different. What advice do you have for those people?
For people that are looking for a change, I mean, they're looking like side by side with a Christian life coach. I mean, they need to know the direction and desire to go, because that's information that is important for a life coach, because that's what we're supposed to be trained for, is just helping and guiding along the way. Sometimes, I mean, there are people that they want change and they don't exactly know what that is, and I've run into that before. And in that case, you need to make sure that you're finding that coach that is compassionate and a good listener. Because, in my case, whenever I'm meeting with a client and they don't know the direction they want to go, then they start like asking questions. So what are their interests? What are your desires? What are your goals? And then we kind of go from there. But I pull in the Holy Spirit all get on this, so that my goal is to get people to understand that you want success in life, then you need to be in line with God. So, there is a doctrine truth to that they are walking with insecurity, and we need to tackle this area that they're dealing with. In other words, otherwise they're not going to succeed. Yet they don't have confidence in themselves. So they'd have to have some kind of idea what they're looking for. And also be honest. I mean, a coach, if they know anything and care anything about their client, if they come to them and say, I know I need help, but I don't know what it is, I don't know how to get there, then be honest. And if they are on good and a coach of integrity, they're going to say, okay, let's build off of that.
That's key. That is huge. And key is like, okay, then let's build, right? And being willing and open to step forward. But like you said, it's being honest with yourself, being vulnerable with yourself and going, okay, there's something going on, but I don't know what needs to change. I don't know where it needs to change. But recognition is the first step of all of this process. If you don't like where you're at, fix it. I've been told that many times. If you don't like where you're at, fix it. If you don't like something, be the change you want to see. And so my advice, and I think you probably echo the same thing, is that if you don't like where you're sitting right now and something feels off, feels chaotic, it's not that peace and rhythm that you want, then step forward and fix it. And especially when it comes to your mental health, because without your mind, nothing else can work. Without you being healthy and safe and peaceful, everything else will exude chaos. It will exude negativity and the things that you don't want. So seek assistance if you need it. Seek more than just a friend. Like it might require more than just a friend to get through this, and that's okay. But seek help that is professional, that is going to be there, that is supportive, and step forward when you need it. Is there any other advice, thought about this topic of mental health within women that you would like to share with us?
Well, first of all, I want to say that if there's any women that are listening today, I want to say that right now that God loves you as you are, and He sees you for who you are. And so I'm willing to bet that everyone that's listening right now probably has some area of their life that they feel that is out of control. But the good news is that we serve a God who is in control. So there's no, He doesn't give us a spirit of fear. He gives us a spirit of sound mind. And so we have that natural boldness within us. And I believe that as women, we are then yet at an area of power that a lot of us haven't tapped into. I mean, look at all the amazing women in the Bible, like Deborah and even Hannah in the Bible. You've got even Mary, Martha, all of these women that have done amazing things, and it's because they were in line with God, and that's why they were able to be used and succeed in everything. And so I felt like that there is no reason to not feel like that you have to stay stuck in whatever it is that you're stuck in, and that you can always get out of it. There is always help out there. One thing I always tell my clients is that there is absolutely nothing that you can say that will surprise God, and He's already seen it a million times over because He's already way ahead of us. And so there's no reason to be stuck because He already has a door open. We just gotta walk through it. We gotta find it, and so that applies to, if you're seeking help, seek it. There is help out there. But all at the same time, don't just seek the mental health help and life help, whatever it is that you need. Seek the Lord first. The Bible says, seek ye first the kingdom of God. So if you seek it first, you will always find what you need. And it's just amazing how that works when you put Him first above everything else.
That is, mic drops. epic pilgrimage and you haven't taken it for anything. I mean, that is true in every essence. I mean, you couldn't have put it any better. I cannot say it any better than what you did. It's so true. When you seek him, you can seek anything. We use his strength, and sometimes it's not our own, it's most likely his because we are human. But he is extraordinary. He will make everything possible that he wants a life of abundance for us. He doesn't want a life of sadness and negativity and oppression. He wants life of abundance. He tells us that. And so, how do we step forward and find that door today and seek out him in his abundance through you? How do we get in touch with you and go forward with you?
For me, like Wayne Hollow, my business is still in kind of the baby stages. So I do have openings for a few one-on-one meetings that I do through Zoom. So that can be done through the easiest way to get through to me is on my email address, which is rachel.divinetreasures@gmail.com. And so that would be the easiest way to get a hold of me, to set up time, because I do still work a full-time job while I'm developing the ministry. I also do have my podcast on YouTube that is under at divine_edification. And that is another way to kind of keep up, because I do put up a weekly podcast, but I also do group videos that are other things that can be done on a day-to-day basis while you're searching for the perfect life coach. Doesn't have to be me, but I still provide a service for the entire public. Well, there are ways that I can try to use my gifts and talents to help along the way. And so that's another great way to get a hold of me is through my YouTube page. And then you can also find me on Facebook, which is under Rachel Schaefer, and which I just recently changed and made the elite name to Worship Warrior 81. So you can find me there. And my inbox is always open for new clients or even just questions and general prayer requests. I'm always open to all of that.
Awesome. Well, I am excited to go ahead and find you on YouTube myself. I know that's one thing I will be doing. And so, listeners, make sure that you go ahead and you go find Rachel and all that she has to offer, whether that be on the YouTube or get in touch with her personally because you just felt so moved and she is that person for you. Find out more. Find out, seek her. Here is your opportunity. But make sure you check the stress. Those will be where all of the links are. So make sure you're following along with Rachel and this podcast, as more and incredible new guests will be on always every week, learning more and doing more for you. Make sure that you also are taking care of yourself. Mental health is key in all that you do, but you're doing an amazing job, listeners, as you go through your days. And Rachel, what you're doing is an incredible ministry. I can only say that I am thankful that I get to see you at the baby stages of your business, because I cannot wait to see what goes forward with your foundation and this ministry and this thought. It will go in beyond abundance for you. I can see it. So thank you for being on, Rachel, and for being here and sharing your knowledge with all of us, because it's so pivotal and important.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor. I love having these little opportunities and just kind of just to talk and let people know like what it really is, what not the truth about coaching and everything. And of course, God's truth on top of that.
That's the key. It's not just about coaching, but it's God's truth. So thank you for being on, Rachel. Thank you, listeners, for being here and listening. Follow along for more as we come through our next weeks. And we'll see you soon.